Let's be honest, if you're an Indian professional in Canada, you have probably heard this at least once. Sorry, what was that again? You have a bit of an accent, or worse, you end up getting into a silence mode or followed by a doubt by the other individuals. But here's the truth, your accent is not a weakness. It's the echo of a country with over 22 official languages, a legacy of global English fluency, and a culture that's produced some of the most brilliant minds in technology, finance, and healthcare. So, why are so many Indian professionals still misunderstood in Canadian workplaces? And in this video, I'm going to break that down for you. Some of the aspects that I'm going to talk are why Indians carry accents and why that's not a flaw, and the subtle but real accent bias in Canada that you do not visibly see, and how to own your voice without trying to sound like someone you are not. And if you have ever felt underestimated the second you open your mouth, this video is for you. So stay and watch. Let me start with this one. Every Canadian has an accent. Whether you accept or deny, that is the truth. And the only reason some are seen as neutral is because they match that media, leadership, and power have normalized for decades. And Indian professionals often speak fluent English, sometimes better than native speakers, but with intonations shaped by Hindi, Tamil, Punjabi, or Telugu, because that's where our mother tongues are, right? But with that, the result is clarity of thought gets buried under assumptions. And people say they're hard to understand and they don't communicate clearly and they sound too aggressive or too fast. And it's not the language, it's the cultural filter through which it's being judged. In India, fast speech is ideally seen as intelligence. In Canada, it's sometimes seen as overwhelming. And in India, formality is seen as respect, and in Canada, it can be misread as coldness. So the Indian accent is not broken, it's just read through the wrong lens. And let's unpack the 5 specific ways this shows up in Canadian workplaces. As an individual, you have all the skills, you've done the work, but feedback sounds like you need to work on your communication, which really means we're not used to how you speak. And many Indian professionals come in with MBAs, strong engineering degrees, and global experience and still get asked to start smaller. And that is the fact. For this, a simple solution is focus on slowing down delivery without watering down your expertise. Start using short, structured answers with pauses that helps the other person to understand your perspective. In Indian workplaces, directness is efficiency. In Canada, it can be misread as rudeness. On the flip side, being respectful or soft spoken can get you labeled as not confident. You have to balance tone with intentional framing. And for that, here's my suggestion. I would love your input on this approach. You have to learn the language of assertive humility. And if you're the one who is staying quiet even when you know the answer, and this is what many Indian professionals are taught not to interrupt, to wait for their turn, to and earn their mic. But in Canadian teams, silence is often read as lack of initiative. And you know what happens as a result? You watch someone less qualified get heard, and they are the ones who get promoted. All that you have to do is start small, ask one question per meeting, own one insight per week. Visibility is not bragging, it's about survival for you to be in the workplaces. Sometimes accent is doubted as a leadership potential. Yes, this still happens. And hiring managers have admitted to assuming Indian professionals might not be a fit for client facing or leadership roles just because of their voice. And this is absolutely a bias in case this is what is truly happening. And this is not a feedback, but it still affects careers. So you will have to back your voice with clarity, repetition, and writing. Speak up, but follow up in writing to reinforce your message so that the person has taken it in the right way. In case of any misunderstandings, the written document clears all that out. And too many Indians are told, directly or indirectly, to sound more like Canadian. Even I have some comments like that. So they start code switching, softening their voice, avoiding native idioms, and losing a part of their identity. All that you have to do is, in case you don't have to fake it, practice clarity and not some sort of a jargon that is not yours. Don't need to erase your voice, you need to own it with precision. Accent should evolve naturally, not because you feel forced to fit into a mold. And you don't need to sound like a news anchor to be credible in Canada. You need to sound like your best self with clarity, confidence, and cultural intelligence. Here's how you have to do it: speak with intention and not speed. Break ideas into three parts. Structure builds trust automatically. And mirror communication styles when needed, but don't erase your own. And also ask for feedback so that it's not become judgmental, and never apologize for wherever you're from. The more Indian professionals lead with authenticity, the faster the systems evolves to meet us, not mute us. And this is where representation shifts perception, and your voice can be part of that shift as well. Your accent is absolutely not your limitation. It's your story, which is layered, global, and earned. So, no, you don't need to change how you sound to keep or to be seen as Canadian. Because Canada doesn't sound one way. It sounds like you and me and millions of us building new paths. If you are an Indian professional navigating this challenge, let me know if you have been through this kind of a bias at your